So now we're going to take a look at a painting by Arnold Tuppley, a painting which I've come to think of as perhaps one of the most important of modern times. It's called Look at Me. No one knows when it was painted, but it's 24 inches wide and 15 inches high, and it's acrylic on board. So let's take a look at it. So this isn't perhaps something you'd expect me to talk about, though having done Franz Klein and Pierre Mondrian, I think a painting like this has a lot more to offer, in the same vein as the Dubuffets I looked at in previous videos. And similarly to those Dubuffet paintings, what I like about this is its directness. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. Arnold Tuppley is dead, we all know that. We also all know that roughly 2 years before he died, he renounced art, claiming that he was no longer an artist but a maker only of artefacts of his life, which therefore could not be seen as art. He had grown to despise the common perception of art, believing that it had become nothing more than a branch of the entertainment industry, or artertainment as he called it. And so he gave up painting, which up until that time had been his primary medium. But things keep popping up, like a series of paintings he did using words, of which this is one. No one knows exactly when he painted these, whether it was during a concentrated period of time or just whenever he felt like saying something. There are no dates and no other records of them, just the paintings themselves with his initials scrawled on the back. Now, despite his denials of the existence of art in anything he did after that point in his career, it is clear, to me at least, that art is very much what he kept producing, and I have to say that though this painting is a million miles away from the landscapes he used to paint, its relevance to the world we now live in is far more vivid than his previous work. Indeed, one could see this painting itself as concisely representing all modern day art, after the various incarnations of painting, sculpture, video, installations, conceptual, neo this and post that. It all comes to the same thing. Look at me. But its relevance transcends the art world itself and seems to me to be directly referring to the culture in which we all live, right now, many years after his death. Just think of the current political leaders, where their extreme ideologies and flagrant use of lying for effect bring them to the attention of the media and therefore the public that may or may not have a chance to vote for them. These politicians use misinformation, insulting language and outright lies simply to get everyone talking about them, whether in agreement or disgust. It's all the same to them. Their ego demands that however it is achieved, they are the centre of attention. Look at me. But back to the painting itself. It's ironic, I think, that what he probably thought was a throwaway remark that he just had to get out of himself, perhaps dismayed once again at the subtlety of art having been lost in the maelstrom of ego taking centre stage in the art world. He couldn't help himself but create a highly nuanced piece of work, where the seemingly slack manner in which he painted it actually only goes to emphasise the point he is making. Its messiness and simple black and white style highlights the point, that it is all about me, whoever or whatever the me in question is. It is no longer about any depth of understanding of the human condition rendered through style or imagery, yet the style in which he has rendered those three small words is every bit as important as the words themselves. It is the brushstrokes once again that hold the power, making this a true painting, leaving no one unsure about what he is saying. I'm afraid that, despite his denials of being an artist, he just couldn't help himself. This is clearly a work of art, an accomplished and finely produced work of art that is painted with great skill. I would also say that I think this is one of the finest paintings of modern times. Not perhaps a great work of art per se, since as time passes it may well be seen as relevant only to the time in which it was painted more than to the nature of human existence itself, but as a work commentating on the time of its creation, I really don't think I've seen anything better anywhere. It is easy to interpret and easy to understand, which is the holy grail of any work of art. And as I always say, any real work of art should need no explanation. The work itself should provide all that is needed in order to understand it. And I think this painting absolutely does do that. So maybe, just maybe, this is in fact a great work of art that will always be understood by human beings as referring to those whose ego trumps all else in their lives and tries to do the same to everyone else's too.